Alrighty, so we're back with another book review, and today we're going to be reviewing the private devotions of Bishop Lancelot Andrewes. We're going to be looking at both his Greek devotionals, and the Latin devotionals. Now, both these were included in John Henry Newman's, I believe it was Tract 90. We have here two editions, so we're going to just dive right in. So the first edition here was translated by John Henry Newman, and this was sold by Abingdon Cokesbury Press. Now this edition is from 1950, whereas this edition is published by Forgotten Books. This one is translated by John Mason Neal. This actually looks to be a mere facsimile copy. Oh, no, never mind. This was first published in the 20s. If you don't know who Dr. Lancelot Andrewes was, he was the Bishop of Winchester, and he was a very prominent Anglican apologist and a bishop. He's often called the St. John Chrysostom of Anglicanism, as he's known for his homilies and his mature understanding of Anglicanism. But I think what makes him probably the most prominent are his private devotions, which were lifted from his journals and were compiled together. Again, these are private devotions, so it's essentially the equivalent of me writing in a diary just his favorite prayers. He lifted these from Greek and Latin traditions. So first here in the Greek one, we have the preparation, times of prayer, circumstances of prayer, an order of matins, an order of evening prayer, a course of prayer throughout the week for each day, as well as exercises such as a deprecation, a litany deprecation, intercessory prayers, meditations, and a preparation litany for communion. So we have here the preparation times for prayer. It gives scriptural references for each part here. It dives into times of prayer, places of prayer, how to pray, the circumstances of prayer, again with scriptural references, before it goes right into a order for matins prayer. For those who are Orthodox, some of you may recognize this litany. This seems to have been copied and edited from a Byzantine Orologian that Bishop Andrewes had access to. And it dives into a confession of sins, a commendation, which, to say the least, they don't write prayers like they used to, where you would have pages upon pages and paragraph upon paragraph of prayers. And that is your matins. Goes into your evening prayer with a meditation, a confession, a commendation, and it does refer you to the forms of intercession here. And you have your prayers throughout the week, which follow a similar pattern: the introduction, the confession, as well as prayers for grace. Because this one is for Sunday, has a hedge of the law and a profession, as well as a intercessory section, which is really long, but nonetheless is very beautiful. Praise, and so forth. And the same goes for every day in the Greek devotionals. We have confession and prayer for grace, intercessory prayers, etc., etc. Yeah, and I do have to say these are very beautiful prayers. So I'm filming this on the second day of the week, which is actually, we're counting Sunday as the first day. This is a Monday. So second day opens up with a confession, which goes, I'll confess my sins and the sins of my fathers, for I have transgressed and neglected thee, O Lord, and walked perversely before thee. Set not, O Lord, set not my misdeeds before thee, or my life in the light of thy countenance. But pardon the iniquity of thy servant, according to thy great mercy. As thou hast been merciful to him from a child, even so now. I have sinned, what shall I do unto thee, O thou preserver of man? Why hast thou set me as a mark against thee, so I am a burden to myself? O pardon my transgression, and take away mine iniquity. Deliver me from going down to the pit, for thou hast found ransom. Have mercy on me, son of David. Lord, help me. Yes, Lord, even the dogs eat of the crumbs which fall from the master's table. Have patience with me, O Lord. Yet I have not wherewith to pray. I confess to thee, forgive me the whole debt. I beseech thee, how long wilt thou forget me, O Lord, forever? How long wilt thou hide thy face from me? How long shall I seek counsel in my soul, and be vexed in my heart day and night? How long shall my enemies triumph over me? Consider and hear me, O Lord my God. Lighten mine eyes, that I sleep not in death. Lest the enemies say I prevailed against him. For if I be cast down, they that trouble me will rejoice at it. But my trust is in thy mercy. Oh, that's just beautiful. They don't, like I said earlier, they don't write prayers like they used to. And then we have, after the prayers for the week, we go into deprecations, which are penitential prayers. You have the deprecations. You have the litany of deprecations. Before it jumps into the forms of intercession, which it lists some topics to pray for. Again, this was written from Reverend Dyer, so it has, his parish was baptized, his university, his college, his parish is St. Giles, other parishes he was at, the diocese. But if you're praying for yourself, you can substitute these in for your own parishes and your schools and universities. Again, this is written in the British Empire. So if you don't live in a Commonwealth country, you can easily, if you're inclined, you can swap out King, Queen for a President, First Lady, Vice President, Congress. You have these meditations here, such as on Christian duty, again with your scriptural references. These are really good to contemplate after prayers. You also have a litany for, sorry, I just got over pneumonia. Prayers for Holy Communion as a form of preparation. Again, with more scriptural references. And essentially that is the Greek devotions. Let's move into the Latin devotions. This one published by Forgotten Books. This is a hardback. This edition was first published in the 1920s. Excuse me. And this has a very beautiful open art cover. So these are translated from the Latin by John Mason Neal. You can see here Bishop Andrew's tomb. Has the original preface from Newman's Tract 90. Your table of contents has your introduction, confession, your morning prayers, your intercessory prayers, the even sacrifice, a Oriology, acts of pleading, which are more or less intercessory prayers, thanksgiving, pleading, preparation to prayers, acts of confession, aggravation of sin, which is penitence, act of confession, a breviary of prayer, act of thanks, the Lord's Prayer paraphrased, prayers for going to church, prayers for reading the scriptures, before a journey, adoration, a list of doxologies, prayer of Thomas Bradwarden, who is Archbishop of Canterbury, etc., etc., as well as hymns. Now these are really long prayers. Again, you have the introduction to confession, which is more of a examination of conscience before prayers for confession. I could even see it being used before private confession to examine your conscience and to kind of ready yourself. You have a really long morning prayer. Your acts of intercession, thanksgiving prayers, deprecation. I'm just kind of bouncing around here because they largely are similar in some aspects to the Greek ones. But the Oriology I find really beautiful, as Oriologies are meant to space out your day and attribute the prayer hours to hours in the Bible, such as, "Thou that at eventide was pleased to be taken down from the cross and laid in a grave, take away from us and bury in thy sepulchre our sins, covering whatever evil we have committed with good works, and deliver us." And again, that's just a portion of the Oriology. And it continues on, such as, "Thou at the 7th hour dost command the fever to leave the nobleman's son. If there be any fever in our hearts, if any sickness, remove it from us also, and deliver us." Acts of pleading, which are intercessory prayers, such as, "The price of his blood, and so not to be despised, you are bought with a price, with the precious blood of the Lamb, without blemish and without spot." Warren's meditations in the evening, which I think can serve as a great preparation meditation before or after evening prayer. There certainly is a great contemplative aspect to these prayers. Some subject for meditation before penitential prayers, which are a lot like another examination of conscience. You have the morning hymn, which is the Gloria in Excelsis Deo. And you have the evening hymn at the end, the Apostolaron. Your prayers for a journey, as well as a little bit of a catechism work, such as the works of mercy, which are your corporal works of mercy, which are visit, give drink, give meat, redeem a slave, clothe the naked, tend the sick, and lay the dead in the grave. Spiritual or counsel, rebuke, instruct in wisdom's way, console, forgive, endure, unmoved, and pray. So it goes without saying, I think these are valuable treasures from the early days of Anglicanism, and give a good glimpse into the really early but also more mature aspect of Protestantism. Bishop Andrews himself was known to not only be a Caroline Divine, but was also able to articulate the Catholic and Reformed doctrines of the Anglican Church. He is actually known in one dialogue with a Catholic cardinal in expounding the doctrine of the Eucharist within Anglicanism. Strangely enough, he is also much loved by some of the so-called Western Orthodox, because he was influenced a lot by the patristics. I think Bishop Andrews, in his private devotions, as well as his theological works, should definitely be read by those who are Anglican, and those who are even just want to look into our history. This one was actually, I got off eBay. This I got off of Amazon. But you can find these just about anywhere. Highly recommend.